My name is Emma, and I just thought I'd do a little bookshelf tour today. These are the bookshelves that sit in our front entryway, and they're pretty simple. They're just the IKEA Billy bookshelves with the doors from IKEA. We changed out the knobs with these little ones from Home Depot. But a lot of our bookshelf is music and cameras, and there's games and stuff up there. I will go through some of the sections of my books and how I organize them. I did want to say sorry about the noise. If you can hear like a fan noise in the background, that is my husband's 3D printer. He is currently printing me something book related that I will show you in a future video. So the noise is worth it. And also, if there's any questions anyone has about any of the books on my shelves, or if anyone wants to see more of an in-depth look of at any particular section, just let me know in the comments down below. So up on top here, we've got some cute little Pokemon models. And then that's our game collection there. We are currently building, myself and my husband, this little book nook guy that I got for my birthday from him. And then we have this plant that is not doing very well, but she's still here, so we'll take it. I've got some little knickknacks up here. This Hobbit house I found at Goodwill. It's just a little thrifting find. This guy here is a camera of my husband's. He could tell you a lot more about that than I could. This here is a little pot that my friend made me, and it's holding a candle right now. And I got these, I have a few of them, little pressed flowers from my grandma. She had them in her house. I'm gonna start up here. As you can see, I have labeled all of my little sections. I used to work at the library, and it's just habit to have sections and then to alphabetize within that section. I haven't done, like, I don't know, the Dewey Decimal System or anything, but, you know, my major in college was religion, and it's a subject that I really love. So I have my general religion books up here. I started with some basically sacred texts. So I have a Bible, I have a Quran, a Tao Te Ching, and a Tibetan Book of the Dead. And I then go into the rest of my religion collection here. I have a small section here for interfaith, books about specifically how faiths can interact with each other and things like that. And then we go into my Judaism section. I converted to Judaism after college. I wasn't looking for a religion to convert to, but that's what happened. And so I have a lot of books on Judaism because I was studying for conversion. So I have my Tanakh here. I've got a form prayer book here, and then some more kind of anthologies and different things there. And then we move down to the rest of my Judaism section. That's another one of my pressed flowers from my grandma. I found this little mushroom at Goodwill as well. And these are a couple of classic iPods and my husband's Game Boy camera. So the next section that I have here is memoir. I really love memoir. It is, I think, an underappreciated genre. I think there's a really great way to tell a story. So some of my favorite ones in here are Caitlin Doty's Smoke Gets in Your Eyes. The Electric Woman is a favorite. Always love Natalie Goldberg. Suleika Jawad. Mary Carr. Yeah, some really good stuff in here. The memoir section continues there. Educated is another favorite. And then I have books on writing. So these are like my writing craft books. This is a menorah that my brother got me in New York City. It is so pretty that I just keep it up all year round. This is my husband's little Instax camera. And then I think my sibling got this owl for me. It's a candle holder for Christmas a few years ago. I'm going to put the book nook there when we finish it. But yeah, we've got some more Natalie Goldberg down here, more Mary Carr, Stephen King, Anne Lamott. Good stuff. And over here is my very small poetry section. Just a few little things in there, some collections, some journals. Down here is the section for nonviolent communication. It is an organization started by Marshall Rosenberg that teaches empathetic listening and self-compassion and all sorts of really great stuff. So the main book, Marshall Rosenberg, is here. This is a dice tower that my husband made. See the dice come through here. It's pretty cool. And then I have my parenting section. I'm a mom, and I have a lot of books about motherhood and parenting and all sorts of good stuff. I have a section for activism, so essentially like politics or anti-racism or things like that. Queer history. And then I have my general nonfiction section. So these are just kind of the nonfiction books that didn't fit anywhere else. And another camera. Down here we have my illness and disability collection. There's a little bit of general nonfiction over there. And then illness and disability. I have an illness and disability. And I got really interested in reading about it when I was trying to write a memoir about my illness. I've since switched that to a fiction project, but I still really love reading about, a lot of these are memoirs, or stories like that, collections of essays, and I just find it really interesting. A lot of these are about illnesses different than mine, but some of them, like this one, Jessica Taylor Behrman, is about my disease, ME/CFS, and her experience with that. And then I have a mental health section, which is small but mighty. I have miscellaneous. And then we move into movies and games. So we have, very important to me, my collection of lost DVDs. Coming down here. This is an old CD case that I had when I was in middle school that you can see is very beautifully decorated. And then we've got our movie collection. This is a chunk of granite. It's from a project that my husband was working on. And then we've got the rest of our movies and DVDs. And then over here on the other shelf, we have classic fiction, including a book I have here about The Great Gatsby itself. Including, yeah, there we go, there's Gatsby. And then these are some little 3D printed things my husband made. They're very fun. And then I have my modern fiction section, which I'm trying to build up. It's kind of small right now, but we're getting there. This last book on the end is a book by my friend, Bert Rinderly, and he is writing a series of science fiction novels that he's gotten printed into these beautiful copies. Yeah. And then these are just a couple of knickknacks we have here. My husband has a guitar body that he's working on. He's worked on some beautiful guitars as just a passion project. And then this is a record set of this Wilco album that my husband really loves. So if we move those things, there's some more books back here. So this is the continuation of my fiction section, Holes, iconic. That is my original copy. But yeah, then we have some short stories, mostly ones that I read for my English minor in college. We have some music books. And then I have the full set here of VHSs for the Beatles anthology. I had a major Beatles phase in high school. So I really love them. And we've got some more space on the end here, so I can get more books. Yay! And then I just wanted to show some of my husband's music collection. I've got some stuff in there too, but it's mostly his. We're very into physical media and just kind of collecting the music that we love, so that's been a fun project. And then these are my husband's cameras. Again, some of them are mine, just this one over in the corner. But we've got our games up here, some puzzles and other stuff. Thank you for watching. I hope that was interesting to see some of the books that I've collected over the years. I don't really buy a lot of books. I try to get most of the books that I read from the library. So these are just the ones that either I couldn't find from the library or that I really wanted to have as part of my collection. So there's some empty spaces because of books that I'm reading. I am actually trying to read the books that I own. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.